Welcome to Avocado Talks.
Yes, we're here again. We're making this happen again. Avocado Talks. So excited for this episode today because here with me I have my little cousin, my little brother from another mother. It's Junio. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. We're in beautiful Miami Beach today, and the sun is shining, and I just feel the good energy being here with you, and just thank you for this opportunity to be here.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing to see where this is going, and I'm proud of you.
Listen, thank you. And, this Avocado Talks is a place for people to connect, to deliver their message, and do whatever they want to do. So I'm glad that you're here today to, share a little bit about your experience, what you have to talk about this topic. It's an interesting topic, I must say. What do you
hmm
think?
I think it's an interesting topic as well. I would say that when you brought it up to me, I even texted you, I'm like, man, this topic got me emotional. Just a little bit from our background and personally you and me and where we've been coming from. It's an experience that I think that we can talk about, and our family as well, where we come from, what
Yeah,
we've experienced. So it's
absolutely.
been exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's probably curious right now to know what are they going to be talking about. Yeah, we're not gonna give it away just yet. But it's something close to heart, and I think we can relate to this. A lot of people who's gonna be listening to
Exactly.
this can relate to this.
Exactly.
So, okay, we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna have to say it.
No,
There's no
don't
way.
do it. Don't do
No.
it. Don't
Okay.
do it.
Okay.
Let's just share the experience of how you started. Talk to people like where you're at today, the mindset of like where that come from?
Well,
Like
so
such inspiration, such so many creativity.
yeah, I agree. I think people need this connection. I think all of us nowadays, especially coming out of a COVID era, we
Mm,
have so much to share, and sometimes we don't have the right avenue
mm,
or, the right kind of, place to be saying whatever we want to say, because that this is the secret of Avocado Talks.
exactly.
You don't have to have an agenda. You don't have to not necessarily know what you're talking about. You just have to have an open heart and this desire to be heard. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like I have something to say, and
Yeah.
this is the way that I can feel comfortable in saying it.
And this is the place and this is the moment. Most
Exactly.
important. This is the moment. It's
I
the
love that.
moment for us to be saying it, and it's also the moment for you out there listening to it. It's your moment to take all of these words in and process it and learn from it.
It's like people have like I don't know this, but I don't know whoever's listening, but there's people that always have ideas, imaginations. They just keep it inside of them.
Right.
And this is a way that I've seen you and your life and what this is becoming. It's kind of like, let me bring it out there.
Yeah, and it was not easy for me to get to this place where I am today to actually realize that I can make that happen. I don't need to wait for somebody else.
Mm,
I mean, let's talk about, this whole journey of coming to America, for example.
exactly.
It's not an easy thing. I came to the United States when I was about to be 15 years old.
I feel like you're spoiling it now. You're kind of getting them there.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess I am. But listen, 15 years old. Can you even begin imagining 15 years old teenager? I was doing a bunch of things in Brazil. I
Yeah,
had just published my first book,
that was good.
and I was doing theater. I was in my element, and all of a sudden I had to come to America. That was not easy. That was not easy at all. So yeah, guys, today we're gonna talk about the price of the American dream. Yeah, not easy to be an immigrant. What do you think?
Man, it's a little bit different in my end, I would say, because I came to the U.S. at a younger age, right? You came at the age of 15. I would say that you were probably, even from experiencing back in the days, you were in your prime. I would say, like you were becoming, like you were doing theater, you were writing books. people in our area, you were starting to be known, and this crazy transition just happened. Well, me was a little bit different. I was around 6 or 7 years old. I could say I was in my comfort zone. Right, it's always switching, learning a new language is always different. But when I came here to the U.S., just imagine a little kid. You don't know anything. You don't know their language. It feels like people around you is just speaking, and you want to be part of it, and you don't know how to be part of it.
Right.
Right. So it was kind of in that flow of the moment when I'm here that I started to realize: do I really want to be here? Do I really, do I fit in? And I still remember having like memories, because I don't know if there's anybody listening to this, but if you can relate, when you move, when you leave a place where you're set, and it's like your stone place, like you're there, you have to get used to a whole new area. So it's not like we moved here with a purchased house. We didn't
Yeah.
have a spot to live. We were in a family, living with our family inside of a room for a couple of months, and that was
That Yeah,
reality.
that was reality. And I remember, I mean, it was you, your mom, and your dad sharing a bedroom.
Exactly.
Not easy. In my situation when I first arrived, I had my own room, but it was me. I think we had what, four rooms, and there were like five, six people living in the
Yeah.
same house. It's crazy. People think it's easy. Oh, America and money and dollars, and no,
No.
like it is tough to
Yes.
begin. You know, uh, have you ever had any, bad experiences as an immigrant, like some kind of discrimination or something like that?
Oh my God, that's a great question. I still remember me going into kindergarten.
Hmm.
It's a while back, but it's like we have those those little
Right.
flashbacks. I remember going into kindergarten, and my goal was I wanted to have friends,
Hmm.
and I stepped into a classroom where everybody in that classroom spoke one language, and I didn't. So I'd be the little lonely guy, seeing everybody play and interact while I'm by myself.
Hmm.
So that at a young age affected me, to a certain point, until I can get out of that bubble, because I would question myself in that kindergarten, first grade, even second grade. Did I really come to this place to just be lonely and not have friends? Is this
Hmm.
what immigrants do? Like, is this what happened? Like, is this what my parents are going through? Is this what my father's going through? Is this going to be the new reality? It took a while for me to break through that shell, but we did it. We
Yeah.
did it. We just transformed. I would say that I could say me and you. We just transformed all that would seem to be negative in such a good positivity,
Right.
and we just transform it into strength. So yeah, I would say that I can consider that in discrimination, but we just got that bad experience, and made a hell out of it. Made a good time.
Yeah, I mean, going back when I was 15 and when I first arrived, I used to live in New Jersey. Shout out to my Jersey people
Let's
out there.
go.
But yeah, I used to live in New Jersey, and I used to go to this high school, East Side High School, where we're talking about 2004, 2005.
Mm,
They actually segregated people by their nationality. So, like, the first floor, it was like white American. Second floor was like African American.
mm.
Third floor, Hispanic. And fourth floor, the Brazilians and the Portuguese,
Love that.
And every first Friday of the month, it was the day of the fighting, like between Hispanic, Brazilians, and
Oh my God.
Portuguese, and the African Americans and what. So Friday, me, poor Luigi, was like shitting my pants, and I would just run.
I don't want to be
I
here.
remember one day they grabbed my legs so I would fall when I was
Wow.
coming down the stairs. So, I mean, yeah, you know, getting here, you're besides, missing your family and all of that, you're faced with discrimination, you're faced with all kinds of prejudice, just for the fact that you're different, that you were not born here, that you don't speak the language, you know, it's a lot of things to overcome.
For
And
sure.
yeah, I agree. We definitely can stand here today and say we actually did it. Um, Look at us. We're here sitting and doing a whole podcast in a
Exactly.
language that is not our native language. For you it has become because you came very young,
For sure.
but for me it was a bit more difficult just because I was kind of already I was raised in Brazil.
For sure.
So do you remember any like fun things or interesting things from your first days in America?
Oh man, I think we can write a book on it.
Okay.
Do you remember the first time when I was like 8 years old, 8, 9 years old, that you took me to New York City?
I don't.
You don't remember that
You
time?
probably remember because
I remember that time. All I remember is that I'm not letting you go because I might get lost in the crowd.
yeah,
I remember we took the train. And to me everything was a joyride.
right.
I've never been to New York City. I didn't need to have any toys. Nothing, nothing, nothing. It was just the fact that I was going to New York City and I've never been there.
Right.
Taking the train, looking like a penguin because it was so cold.
Yeah.
We were probably wearing, whatever we had what's that thing called again? Sweater on your head, whatever.
Yeah.
You guys know what it's called.
Yeah.
We were just, it was just cold. It was a cold time and we're just going to New York City. We took the train. Mom was with me. My father was still in Florida. But I still remember that experience like it was today. Because that day we went, I'd say there was like an ice skating like area there that we went. We had pizza. All in all, I could say that when we went to New York City, we probably got there around 10 and left at night. We were dead tired.
Yep.
It's these little moments that, you see, not only the family aspect, but you see that there's so much into the world.
Yeah. There is.
There's so
Was
much
that the time that
fun.
we went to the Ferris wheel? There was a Ferris wheel inside like a toy store
Yes, that
in
was
New
the M&M.
York.
Was that the M&M store or no?
Something. No, I
It
don't
was
think it was Toys R
Toys
Us.
R Us. Yes,
Yes. Yes, right on Times Square. I remember that. We
it's
have a picture somewhere
it was
from
just
that moment.
and like I'm not. And you're probably gonna hate me for this, but
Oh my God.
your hair like was just beautiful back then.
It
It's
still is. It's
it's
still
alright.
here somewhere.
It's still there, and it was just a blast. It was
Yeah.
little simple things.
Yeah.
The same way we went, it's the same way we went back. We literally went. We didn't go with the mindset of what. Let's just do something fancy. It was no. It's just quality time.
Yeah, just quality time together.
Exactly.
And it's interesting you talking about that because this whole thing of yes, it's hard, but it's also fun that you're
Exactly.
living this thing. I remember when I first arrived, the first place my mom took me was to a dollar store.
Wow.
We went to a dollar store because that's all she could afford. And I just started picking things. And I was so happy to just freaking buy like $1 DVDs. Like
It's amazing.
crazy things like that. And yeah, it was fun. It's something I'll never forget. You know, it it's really like has this special place in my heart.
And I feel like it teaches us to give more, because when you come from a spot where it seems like you have everything to an area where now you have to build to try to get things, it makes you become more giving,
Yeah.
right? It you start valuing that. I remember a while back, I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money, but we had like 6 family members, and it was Christmas time. I asked one of our aunts, and I said, "Hey, can we go to Dollar Tree and can I go buy little cups or like little things for these people?" Because just the value,
Yeah.
because you just learn, like it's just like the system just changes you.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing.
I agree. I agree. I cannot, even I stop and I think, man, like my first job in America was cleaning houses and offices with my mom. And I would wake up at 4 a.m., do whatever I needed to do with her, and then head to high school. And it was not easy. It was tough. And then I also remember then, I approached a partner and I told her, hey, I want to work for you. And I started like making copies,
Right.
making no money, by the way, no money. I would go work for 2, 3 hours a day, make no money just to get the experience,
It's awesome.
until I finally started like making some money and stuff like that. But one day she came to me and she told me that my English was horrible.
Oh my
You
goodness.
know, I was what, 16 years old? I was hurt. I left, I
Wow.
quit. And it was like, why am I doing this?
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people may be listening to us right now, and maybe they're immigrants in the United States. They may be sitting there and thinking this: why am I doing this? Why am I going through this? Why is this person, discriminating me or, talking down to me? Like, I'm gonna tell you why, because
Hmm.
you're gonna get there.
Wow.
You're going to get there. You're going to overcome all of these things, and you're going to look back and you're going to connect the dots, and you're going to understand why you went through all of that.
That's
Like,
so
I can
beautiful.
do it today,
Exactly.
looking back, and I'm like, wow, this is where I came from. And never forget that,
That's amazing.
you know?
It's like it's people always say, right? Like, why me? Like, why am I the chosen one? Am I the only one going through this? And I always switch that question. It's like, why not you?
Right.
Like, you're probably the best person to go through that struggle. Because, like, in the midst of that struggle, you're going to find so much fulfillment.
Yep.
You're going to find so much joy. You're going to look back at it and say, man, like, today, I understand those days.
You're going to find your purpose.
You're going to find your purpose.
Yeah.
You're going to wake up and say, like, how many times you woke up at 4 a.m. in Jersey? It's freezing cold.
Yep.
And now you have your school's backpack, but before you put it on, you have to carry buckets of water because you're cleaning floors.
Yeah.
And then you're probably going to school smelling like cleaning materials.
Exactly.
Going to school, after school, working just to make a living, right? Not to live, just to make a living.
Right.
So it's like, why not you? Like,
Right.
you're the best person to go through these things.
But people need to also understand that there is a price. You can't
Exactly.
just sit on the sofa and wait for things to happen. A lot of people now see me, for example, last year I was, selected by the Florida bar, the paralegal of the year,
Let's
the
go.
first ever, guys, the first ever in history. It was me. But a lot of people don't understand. Like, this didn't just fall off the sky. There
Exactly.
was a long process. I used to work in an office from 9 to 6. I used to teach ESL from
Wow.
7 to 10. I used to go to school online after that, you know.
It's powerful.
So it's work, guys. There's a price for you to achieve your dreams. You can't just sit there and think that everything is going to be given to you just because you're awesome. No, you have to do your part, right? You
Exactly.
have to do your part. Do you know? I mean, I'm sure that you know a lot of people who are immigrants like us. Do you have any interesting story that you could share?
Man, a lot of stories come to mind, but there's a personal mentor of mine. I'm gonna say mentor, so I don't just share his name out
Yeah.
there. But this guy, he impacted me a lot. He impacted me a lot because he was a older man when I met him. He's probably in his late, I'd say 70s.
Okay.
Um, and my mother used to work in his home, right?
Mm-hmm.
She used to clean for him and just take care of his nice apartment up in Boca. Um, and one day I sat with him and I started to ask him questions. I was young, I didn't have anything to lose, and I didn't offend him in any way. And obviously, you see a guy in that position living in such a nice home, driving such a nice car with such nice watches. You're just like, oh my God, like I want to be that old man, right? And
You're curious.
like,
You want to
you
have what he has, but not be him.
exactly, exactly. And I just sat down and I just started because I'm curious. I ask
Yes, you
questions.
do. You ask too many
I asked too
questions.
many.
You're being shy today. You're not asking as many.
Exactly. So I just started asking him questions, and I came to find out that before he reached the level that he was in, he was actually abandoned by his parents.
Mm.
He was abandoned by his parents, and from there on, obviously sent to like a child care. He got adopted. From there on, that's how his life went. right? Not knowing who his parents is, that can mess with your head.
Right.
That can get with you as a kid, but he pushed on forward. He ended up working. He got his degree in civil engineering. And what was beautiful about it is that he didn't do anything related to civil engineering. He actually got into the fashion world, and that's where he made a lot of his success.
Oh.
But what caused my attention on that is he had everything to just look back at his story and say, my parents left me, I'm not going to be anybody. Well, he turned that pain into so much motivation that he's like, I'm going to use this, and now I'm going to build my family.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. His kids are a blessing today. You know, he passed away, but I know he's in a better place today.
Mm-hmm.
But he left such a great legacy for paying a price, right? I would sit down with him, and he would just look at me and say, hard work, get out there and do it. It's hard work. Get out there and do it. He never bragged about anything. He would honestly sit down in front of a McDonald's and eat the double cheeseburger with me and whatever. He didn't have that in his heart.
Right.
Such a humble guy because he knew where he came from.
Yes.
Right. So
And that's
exactly
very
what you're
important.
saying.
That's very important. I remember one day when I was, in my ESL teacher years, which, by the way, were the best.
I sat in those classes.
I miss my students so much, just because I was able to do so much, and I was able to learn so much. So I remember one day, it was 9/11, and the topic of the day was, tell me about your story, coming to the U.S. and all of that.
Exactly.
And I had a student that she started crying. And this was young me, 20, 21 years old, something like that. I didn't know what to do. I mean, she started
My God.
crying, and I'm like,
Young teacher.
okay, I'm the one. Yeah, panic. Like, if memes were big those days, they would put me like, something like that. But then she started sharing her story. And she told me that she crossed the border to come to the US. And in crossing the border, those people that cross the coyotes.
Yeah.
So the coyotes started sexually abusing her
Oh my goodness.
and her sister, because it was both of them, they were crossing. So they started abusing both of them. They killed her sister in front of her.
Oh my goodness.
And when they were going to kill her, they looked at her in her eyes and told her, it's not your time yet. You can go. So she was able to cross. There's a lot of stories like that. A lot of people who, come. We were fortunate we didn't have to go through that, but there's a lot of people that come to the U.S. through the border, and all they want is the American dream. All they want is a better life for themselves. Some of them, get lost in the middle, and it's sad. A lot of stories like that. So it is upon us. We
It
do
is.
have a responsibility
What did you say,
to.
if you don't mind me interrupting? What did
Yeah.
you say to her when she told you that?
I said, I'm sorry. I mean, there's in those moments, what else can you say, Like, I was grateful that she shared her story, and it still moves me to today because, we're fortunate that we didn't have to go through that. A lot of people need to. A lot of people lose their lives just wanting to come to this land, you know, thinking that their lives are gonna be better, and then all of a sudden, they don't even make it.
Exactly.
So it's sad. It's sad. It really is.
I thought of a quote that I like that I shared that kind of touched me by Richard Nixon. It says, "The American dream does not come to those who fall asleep."
Yep.
Have you thought about the nights you were, you didn't fall asleep, you're worried, you're concerned.
Yeah.
How's tomorrow going to be like? Or maybe even how are you going to pay that bill? Because imagine her in that situation. Like, she's not legal.
Right.
She depends on a daily bread, and she's depending that work is just going to be there the next day.
Yeah.
right? And many people say, yeah, for me, I want to live this American dream. I want to be somebody. I want to reach, all these successes. But the question is like, are you working hard for that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, are you sleeping on it?
Right.
Because we forget that we can tell beautiful stories, and a lot of the time, what like I used to hear is, people will never clap for you in the midst of your story. People will never look at you and say, "Yeah, you're working from 7 to 10, and then you're going home and doing school." No, people are going to look at you and say, "Yeah, you're the number one paralegal. Yeah, you just received this trophy." But as they're applauding you, you're like, "Man, like it was those nights. Like
Yeah.
those were the nights that made you a warrior."
Yes.
It wasn't the trophy. It was the sleepless nights. It was the 4 a.m. Those are the nights that you can say, "Okay, I'm already conquering it."
Yeah.
Like you're giving yourself the trophy, and I think that's the price.
Yep.
That's the price that you have to, not saying that you're not going to sleep, you're going to be up all night. No, not throwing no negativity out there. I'm just saying that if you're in a position and you're too comfortable and you know inside of you like I have more in me, why not go after it?
Yeah. I
Why not
agree.
go change?
Yes, go make it happen. And the price also means money, guys. Let me tell you, taxes are expensive.
There you go.
It's very expensive to live in America. They take out a lot of money in taxes.
Yep.
So, that's another thing. But yeah, and at the end of the day, it is a struggle going through all of that, and then you start finding your way, right?
Correct.
In America. I mean, as I stand here today, I've lived more than half of my life in the United States than in Brazil. That doesn't mean I'm more American than Brazilian. It just means I've spent more time here. And I can truly say that I love America. I love the opportunities this country provided me. I love all the challenges, and I can't wait for what's next,
What's next?
because truly America is a place where you have a lot of opportunities all the time,
What do
you
you
know?
think is next for you, though?
I don't know. I don't know what's next, but I'm excited to figure it out. Um, but I've come to a place in my life where I'm comfortable. You know, I definitely want to continue growing and all of that, but I've proven myself. I'm proud of myself. I stand here proud of everything I was able to accomplish, of being able to prove all of those people said that I wasn't going to be able to make it, to be able to look at them in the eye and say, you see,
Mm.
this is where I am.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't listen to what you had to say or all of the negative things you had to say. And it's okay. You said it, whatever, it's past, But I always had this conviction in me,
Wow.
that I was going to make it, that I was going to make it happen. And there was no saying no to me.
That's
If
amazing.
one door would, be a no, I would go around it.
Hmm.
I would find a way, you know?
That's it. Now that's it. It's like you don't like in this price that you're paying to live that American dream. You don't necessarily need to know how tomorrow is going to be. You just need to set yourself up for it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow, but I know that I'm working for a dream.
Yeah.
If your dream is to let's say your dream is to be a business owner one day and grow it out, or your dream is to be a paralegal, your dream is to be a doctor, chase it,
Agreed.
go after it. You don't need to answer the question, yeah, I'm going to be a doctor. No, 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 you're building your dream.
Yeah.
You're paying that price. So that's amazing.
Yeah. I usually end the podcast with, a saying. Well, it's usually a song, but I couldn't really find anything fitting. So I found this quote from Martin Luther King, the big one. And this is what it says: I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow,
Mm.
I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the
Wow.
true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self evident that all men are created equal.
That's awesome.
That's the foundation of
That's a
America.
drop the mic.
Yes, boom.
Boom.
That's the foundation of America. And I don't mind I paid the price
Yes.
that I paid all these years, because in this country, you do feel that we're all equal.
Yep.
Does not matter where you come from, what you do, we're all the same. And I love it. I
That's it.
love that about America. You
That
know?
is true. Dr. King does he does finish that one off right.
Yeah.
It's we might live under, different circumstances, but at the end of the day, we're all dreamers.
Yes.
There's always a little seed of dream in there. And it's just watering that dream to make that dream come true.
Yes.
And the answer, the question is how much how much water are you pouring into
Yeah.
that? Like, are you
That's a
willing?
question for you out there listening to us. How much water?
Like, are you like feeding it,
Yeah.
or are you just being poured into all the no's? You're gonna get no's all your life.
Right.
There's always somebody ready. Look, just listen to this if you're out there. There's always somebody ready and willing with a smile on their face to say no.
Exactly.
But what breaks that is if you keep seeking that yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going for the no. The no we already have.
We all do.
But what about that yes? That one yes can shape your confidence, can shape you, can show you that there's a lot more.
Exactly.
So that's
Yeah.
how I think about it.
So for everybody listening to us today, if you're thinking about coming to America, understand that there is a price for it. If you are in America already, understand that you're paying the price, but there's going to be, abundance. At the end of the tunnel, you're going to find your way. You're going to live the best life that you could ever live. You
Exactly.
know,
I
believe
agree.
it, believe it, believe it, believe it, and start watering your plant,
That's it.
you know. Thank you. Thank you
Yep.
for being here with us in
I'm
Avocado
excited.
Talks.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And guys, see you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Bye.
Bye, guys.